Alright, so let's go ahead and start unboxing. First up we have the Metalcloak box. Gonna get some cool stickers. Coming out first, we're gonna have the Fairlead plate. This is gonna go on the end of your bumper once the install is complete.
Fairlead.
Your Fairlead will attach to this. Next up, we got the support bracket that goes behind the winch plate. And last, we have the winch plate itself. There is also a bag of bolts in the box. Make sure you get that out because you will need it.
Got the winch.
So we got the winch hook here. We got the remote. This is wireless or wired. This is the wires for the remote if you would like to use it wired. And this is your Fairlead. This is the winch itself. Looks great. So right here there's going to be 5 bolts underneath the bumper where the steel skid plate is. All 5 of these bolts are going to be 13 millimeter.
No, it was loosened the first time. We changed it back twice. So I had it on the right setting, but it just wasn't coming off. Maybe it's because it's an end piece and it's holding a good bit of weight on it or something. Shut up, you didn't see that.
Everybody's not seeing it?
No.
Please garage.
Do you want me to hold this up or something, or is it just gonna fall
It's
in?
okay. There's 2 more under here. I'm gonna have to get those up. Let's go 13. Just be careful in case it does. Try to come down. Put the other hand in there.
Here there are an additional 2 bolts on the right and left. On the back side of the skid plate, these are also 13 millimeter.
You want to hold it?
Zip those off and I'll hold it.
I'll try this one.
So next we're going to want to unplug the fog lights. There is one on the passenger and driver side. There's also a small grommet below that ties the wire into the bumper. You're going to want to push that through. And here is the fog light connection on the driver's side. So on the passenger side fog light, there is also this black connector. This ties both of the fog lights back into the vehicle. You're going to want to unplug this one also. So here we're going to disconnect the main fog light harness. You just need to pull it out. It is tough to get out, but there are no pins or grommets or anything holding it in. So just pull it straight off. So next we're going to get under the bumper so that you can see the bolts that are holding the bumper onto the frame. There are 2 on the inside of the frame. These are 18 millimeter deep sockets. You're going to need a deep socket because the bolt sticks out so far. So make sure you have a deep socket for those. And there are an additional 2 on the outside of the frame. So that is 4 of those bolts holding the bumper on each side of the frame. So 4 on the passenger, 4 on the driver's side. Next we need to remove this metal plate on the top of the bumper so that the winch can come through. There are 5 bolts here. They are a Torx 45. Metalcloak, you got these 2 parts here. This is the plate the winch is going to sit on. This bracket goes behind it. So when it's sitting up, these 4 holes, you're going to bolt those up. So this back piece will go on first, and on each side there's 2 holes here that are going to bolt to these 2 holes, and then on this side there's an additional 2 that will bolt right here. So this is going to go in there like this. Once you have that in place, the plate will slide in backwards like this. And then this top piece, don't hold that up. This piece will bolt in here, and over here will bolt in there. Then you got your 4 holes in the front that will bolt in the factory location. So we got this back plate loosely on here. As you can see, it's gonna bolt to these 2 bolts. He's trying to light it some more. And these 2 bolts over here. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this down, and then we'll put the winch plate on top of it. So when you take this upper bracket off, when you take that off, that whole bracket right there is not going to go back in. And that's on both sides. Both of those come out, and the winch plate, this piece right here, that piece right there on the winch plate, that is going to replace that. So we got the Harbor Freight Apex Badlands winch, 12,000 pounds, with the synthetic cable. A lot of these winches have the problem where the wires coming off the control box are in the back. The Jeep grill sits about right here. So this gets very tight on the grill. So what we're gonna do is relocate this wire to come out on the top side over here. So to do that, we have 2 screws on each side of the control box, and then these smaller screws on this cover. So we're gonna go ahead and take these off. These are a T20. I've already unscrewed them. So once they're unscrewed, you're just gonna slide this off. Now when you wanna take the control box off, even after you take these 4 bolts off, and these are a T30, I've already unscrewed these as well. When you take those loose, this still will not come off because these contacts are bolted in. So we're gonna have to remove 1, 2, 3 of these contact nuts. You can leave the upper ones. These are a 13 millimeter. And when you take these off, there is a locking washer and a regular washer under these. Let me go ahead and take those off. The locking washer goes on top, and the regular washer goes on the bottom. Over here on the right side, when you try to lift this up, it's going to catch this release. So we're going to go ahead and turn that. Now you can pick the control box up. It's a little tricky to get these contacts to come off, but you just got to wiggle it and work with it. I got a flat head here, just to leverage it some. Alright, on the bottom of the control box, there's going to be 4 Torx bolts here. These are also a T30. So we're going to go ahead and remove these, which is going to remove this bracket so that we can remove this plate and see the wiring on the inside. So now we're going to remove the backing plate. Here's your solenoid. This is another little tiny control box. This green wire that is unplugged goes to the remote winch control, so you can leave that. The wire that we will be moving is this power wire right here. You can see it comes out on the back, which when it's installed comes out back here. So we want to move this to the side. And we can't come out of this side because there is a housing right here for your remote to plug in. That is going to be on the right side of the winch. So we want to come out on the left side of the winch above these contacts. So when we flip it over, it's going to be a little reversed, but we're going to come out over here. So when we remove this plate, what we're going to do is drill a hole right here, unbolt this wire. We're going to remove the wire from this hole, run the wire through the new hole coming out the side, and rebolt it to the contact. And with that done, instead of the wire coming out the back and being pressed up against your grill, it will instead come out right here, and you can run it down to your battery. So we got a hole started over here on the side where we're gonna move the wire to. What I did first was just use a small drill bit to drill a pilot hole. And we got one of these steep drill bits. We got one of these step drill bits from Harbor Freight. Right now we have a small hole. It's drilling pretty easy, so we're gonna go ahead and remove so that we can fit it and make sure we're not drilling in too big of a hole. So this nut right here is a 13 millimeter. Just gonna remove the power wire. I'm gonna put this nut back on so these other wires under it don't come off. Okay, now we're just gonna pull the power wire out from the original hole. So the power wire is loose. Now we can kind of gauge how much bigger we need to do this hole. So I'm gonna do it one step bigger, and we'll try it again and see if it fits. All right, we got it a little bigger now. So this is actually going to go like this.
It's the opposite side. The other side goes in. I had the white sheet on it that was attached over here.
Nope, a little bigger. I don't want you to do that. I don't want to get you hurt. I can't guarantee that it won't jump.
Oh yeah, brother. Hold on, I can jimmy it around to get it in maybe.
Well, it's pretty sharp. Alright, so we found that we drilled to the 7/8 mark on this step bit. We also used a 7/8 grommet. So you can see the grommet is in there. It's going to be a little bit tough to get it in. And we ran the wire through there. So now it's got a tight fit just like it did on the OEM, the factory piece on the back. Now you're not going to have metal rubbing your wire because the grommet covers the top and the bottom of this hole. And if we close this back up, you can see that there's plenty of room to now attach the power wire back to where it needs to go. So with this all attached, if we put it back on the top, you can see that now this power wire is going to be running out the side, and you can run it straight down under your grill to your battery, and it will not be rubbing on your grill. Alright, so we got it all back together. Everything's tight. You can see now this is coming out the side. Looks very good. Looks like it was meant to be there. Next, we're going to go throw it in the Jeep and install it. So when you're ready to bolt the winch down, you're going to have these little square threads. You need to slide down into this hole on the bottom of the winch. There's going to be 2 on each side of the winch, front and back. So there's one here and there's one in the back. So you just slide this in. You might want to put them on before you put the winch on, because once it's down here, it's pretty hard to get to the ones in the back. Then when you come underneath, you can see they're all lined up. You can see the threads there in that one. You got your bolts to come with it. You're just going to secure that on there. So with the Badlands winch, you're going to get this kill switch here. So you can cut the power to the winch. If you don't want it on at all, then you can turn this and cut the power on to the winch when you're going off-road. You don't have to install this. If you want the extra safety, you can. On the back here, you just wire the power cable here coming from the winch on one side, and then this short power cable that comes with the kit on the other side. This will go to the battery. You can find a place to screw this in. We're just going to zip tie it down right here beside the battery so you can pop the hood, flip it easily, close it back. So we got the bumper installed. We ran the power and the ground underneath through here. Just ran right under here. Comes out under the fender. And it goes right up above this spring, because that is going to make it come out right here beside your battery. There might be a better way to do it. This is just how we decided to do it. So the ground comes out. We zip tied that straight to the ground. Here's your kill switch. We zip tied the extra power wire, put the kill switch in, ran the short wire right there to the positive, and it is good to go. We got everything back on. We took these end caps off of the bumper. I think it looks much better with the stubby style. The winch looks great in here. It's pretty flush. I think it looks fantastic. The Metalcloak kit worked out amazing. The only issue we have, which seems to be an issue with any winch plate you get for the Badlands, is when you try to free spool, it hits the top of the bumper here. Later we're going to put washers under the winch to raise it up so that this will turn over top of the bumper. Other than that, it looks fantastic.